You know, it really kind of scares me more than this coronavirus, that the animals are getting a little too comfortable with us not being around outside anymore. They're like, oh, no humans. Why don't we just take over? I mean, it's becoming a little creepy. I've never seen, I don't truly live in such a rural area, but I've never seen like 15 turkeys just kind of walk around in my backyard and they're like, oh, this is cool. This is our new hangout. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just take over here. And I couldn't get this on film fast enough, and I apologize for the quality, but a freaking fox runs out and mauls one. I'm not a Darwin guy. I believe in adaptation, not necessarily evolution. But I'm thinking, well, if I'm wrong, and these animals start to figure out that the viruses are what's keeping us indoors, they're gonna be like, man, maybe we should make some more of these viruses.
10 toes down to the ground right now. Right now. Think I finally figured out.
Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. My name is George Gianaris. I'm a professional chef of 35 years, and this is my YouTube channel, which is all about eating healthy, saving money, and cooking like a professional. If at the end of this video, or even right now, you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it really helps me out immensely. And today we're going to talk about dressings. I am going to make a super healthy immune boosting dressing, because God knows we can use everything that we can to boost our immune system in this day and age. Dressings basically serve two functions. They add texture and they add flavor. Whenever we dress our salad, it's to make a creamy, uniform, sour, tangy, contradicting kind of a texture or flavor to what would ordinarily be a fairly raw, bland vegetable. Why not include ingredients that are there to really strengthen the immune system of the human body? Now, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, but I've been conditioned over the past 30 years to eat certain foods that are considered immune strengthening. Some of those things include high antioxidant berries like raspberries, currants, gooseberries. And I heard this story once, I'm not sure how true it is, but this one guy, he loved currant jelly, which currants are kind of like a sour, almost like a raisiny kind of when they dry, they look almost like tiny raisins. They're very small berries. If you can get them in season, get them. They're very sour, but you can kind of incorporate them into your food. They're so powerful for you. They're loaded with vitamin C, loaded with antioxidants. But anyway, this guy, he loved currant jelly, and no one else who was having dinner with him liked currant jelly. And back in the day, they used to like hang pheasants for like a week in warm weather outside, so the meat would tenderize, and they didn't realize that this could kill you. And they had this giant pheasant feast. The only guy who didn't die was the guy who slathered currant jelly over his pheasant. Everyone else died. I'm being completely honest with you, I have never made this dressing before. We are gonna make an awesome dressing together, and you get to see the creative process behind it. And if you like what you see, you can download the recipe that will be printed on my website, awarehoussechef.com. So let's begin. I'm gonna be using a vinegar as a base here. Why not use apple cider vinegar? This stuff is supposedly fantastic for you. People take like an ounce of this a day. It's changed their lives. It's available at Costco. It's relatively inexpensive. Definitely keep that one in your cupboard. In my previous video that I did on dressings, I made 3 great dressings, some that I actually use in my own restaurant. One of the things I discuss is the ratio of vinegar to oil. And we'll go to the 100 line over here, or what looks like to be 25% or so of the jar, maybe a little bit more. And then what you do is just taste that vinegar a little bit. It's a little sour. We're gonna try to balance out the acidity with this honey. Let's talk honey. 21 years ago, we went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we went to a honey farm. And there was a farmer there, and we bought 4 gallons of this raw honey. I mean, he literally pulled it out of the hive. This is the last of it. Honey is unbelievably good for you in small quantities, but the best honey for you is raw honey if you're allowed to eat it. So make sure that you're allowed to eat raw honey. If you're a child, you shouldn't be eating this stuff. If you're pregnant, you shouldn't be eating this stuff. Check with your physician. But in very small quantities, I think you'll be okay. We're gonna add a little bit of honey to this. Probably close to like a teaspoon. just because I want to incorporate the honey, because I'm going to taste that. And it needs more, definitely needs more honey. Taste here. Obviously, I'm tasting this because I'm going to eat it. I don't recommend you re-dip the spoon. I'm very surprised at how much honey that needs to temper the acidity of the vinegar. The reason why I'm trying to lower the acidity of the vinegar a little bit is because I think that when I add the kefir to it, I believe that it's going to break. Kefir is super high in acidophilus, it's very high in probiotics, so we're gonna experiment with some of this stuff today. And it hasn't broken, so that's awesome. So let's give that a taste. Gives it like a little bit of a creaminess to it, a little milkiness to it. I kind of like that. I'm gonna add a little more of that. So at this point, it looks like the ratio is 50% kefir vinegar to the oil that we're gonna add in it. Let's talk a little bit about this ginger. BJ's is a wholesale club. They sell organic ginger there in 2-pound packages. It's seasonal. But this is what you do. Watch my video. There's a link up top, there's a link down below that shows you how to pickle this ginger. Very, very easy. Having pickled ginger will last in your fridge about 6 months. When I go out for sushi, I actually bring this with me. Watch that video, you'll see what is actually in sushi ginger. It's kind of gross. Unless you're going to a super high-end sushi place, there's saccharin, there's all sorts of chemicals in it. So having this in the fridge is very useful, and I give you throughout this channel a bunch of recipes where you can use this ginger. If you don't feel like pickling your own ginger, it's not that hard to do, just pick up a ginger root, because we're gonna add some of that, and try to go for organic. It looks like about roughly a teaspoon of ginger. And I'm gonna add about a half a teaspoon of horseradish. And I'm gonna put 1 clove of garlic in there. Let's blend that up. Time to switch to a larger container. Wow, it's pretty good. Let's try adding some of our raspberries to this. If you are worried about the seeds, just make sure that you puree them separately and then add it to this mix. So. Shocked. I'm really shocked at how well this is coming together. I was all prepared to act it. I'm going, oh, that's disgusting. This is really delicious. My mouth is watering. I would probably go with another clove of garlic. I think it needs it. What it is lacking is salt. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of salt to it. Salt really made it pop. I'm gonna season this a little bit. We'll go with a little bit of pepper, black pepper. I would say the equivalent of about a quarter teaspoon. And let's just put some turmeric in it. Turmeric supposedly is a really good anti-inflammatory. Not gonna add much flavor, more color. I'm not sure what it's gonna do to the pink raspberry. Let's find out. Okay, almost made it like a mustardy kind of a color. This is absolutely delicious. It's coming along really, really well. No, this is not Pellegrino. This is what Greeks do when they get olive oil. There's a guy, nobody knows who this guy is, but he makes the best olive oil, and everybody's got one of these guys back in their home country. Like in Greece, this guy lives somewhere in the mountains. I think he squeezes each olive by hand. You can only get it through family. You can only get it in this massive container that's like a copper container. It's usually 15 liters. Always someone who gets this stuff and they give it to you in a bottle that they saved, like this Pellegrino bottle. If you can source homemade olive oil from Europe, especially Greece, you are golden. But if you can't, there are other options. I prefer Greek olive oils. They're excellent. The one that I use is called Messinia. It actually won Best Olive Oil in 2018 in all of Europe. Just get a really good quality olive oil. Something that's usually first press, organic is best. But you have to taste it because some olive oils have tannins in them. They're a little sharp. I find Italian and Spanish olive oils to be more that way. I think the Italians keep the good olive oil in their country and they ship us the stuff they don't really care for. I mean, you know, it's just a theory. We're gonna almost make equal parts of mixed olive oil. So it's really thick. You can see it has like syrupy consistency. I mean, it's really good. My one complaint is it's light. So I would go back, add more raspberries, not so much horseradish. Let me taste that again. Let's do it again. 2 teaspoons of Celtic sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground organic black pepper, 3 cloves of garlic, 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/2 cup of raspberries, -1, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, roughly 1 tablespoon of ginger, about 3/4 teaspoon of horseradish, and a good tablespoon of organic raw honey, 1/2 cup of kefir, and there you have it, an excellent immune boosting dressing that you can have anytime. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Visit my website for the detailed recipe. I'm very excited to see you again next week. Thank you so much for watching.